What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Let's predict some college football games, shall we? We have a massive slate to open week one of the college football season, and the first full slate of games has 3 top 10 matchups and one of the biggest opening week matchups in college football history. It's got all the storylines you could want. Number 1 versus number 3, a rematch of the college football playoff semifinal instant classic at the Cotton Bowl last year. A lot of overturn with both of these programs and what is set up to be an instant classic between Texas and Ohio State. Or it also could be a very one-sided affair. Trust me, we'll dive on into it here in this video. My name is Nate Pope, otherwise known as Tailgate Nate. I'm a sports media graduate with a massive passion for everything going on in the sports media world, in the sports world in general, and especially the world of college football. If you would like to see me talk about college football all season long, especially if you like this video, go down below, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, you might as well ring the bell so you're locked into everything going on this college football season. And if you want to follow me on social media, either to get to know me better or join me in my journey to reach as high as I can as a professional in the sports media industry, go follow me at TailgateNate29 wherever you like to get social media, whatever social media app it is you like to use. Number 1, Texas. Number 3, Ohio State. In the shoe, big noon kickoff. Okay, let out the size and grounds, I know. It is what it is. It is going to be an electric atmosphere nonetheless. And there are going to be a lot of people wearing burnt orange in this stadium. There are going to be a lot of Texas supporters that travel here. And when you're bantering back and forth between each other, to steal a little analogy from Josh Pate, if I may, or if you're just talking amongst your buddies, I think everyone's looking at this game, number 1 versus number 3, a lot of overturn, a lot of uncertainty. Boy, this is sure to be a legendary game. I got no idea. You got no idea. This could be a very one-sided affair, and nothing would surprise me in this contest. It wouldn't surprise me to see Texas come on the road and absolutely shell-shock the Buckeyes. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Buckeyes hold serve and take it to the horns down fans again, and keep that momentum going forward as they look to win their 2nd straight national championship. Nothing would surprise me in this game. It also would not surprise me if these two teams play what I think a lot of us are hoping for, a close instant classic, no matter how high or low scoring. But there's a lot of change with both of these programs. 2 new starting quarterbacks, and I want to first touch on each of these quarterbacks and their wide receiver rooms. And it's very interesting to talk about, because when you start with the quarterbacks, well, the Arch Manning era is officially beginning here with Texas, right? Everyone's hyping up Arch Manning. Everyone thinks Arch Manning is going to be amazing, and he's put some product on the field to be able to back it up. Unlike Julian Sayin, a lot of people think Julian Sayin is going to be really good. He's got one of the quickest releases, we believe, in all of college football. We got no idea what Julian Sayin is going to be. We have a little bit of an idea because Arch Manning saw a lot of playing time last year. Julian Sayin, nothing. Nothing in his collegiate career so far has been in snaps and reps that are meaningful and important. Well, talk about going to face off against the number 1 team in the country for your first college football game. And when you even expand it further in both of these pass games, and you look at both of these wide receivers, let's start with the home side. We all know what they got. Jeremiah Smith is probably the best player in college football. Brandon Inniss, Carnell Tate, extending it to the tight end room. You have a Purdue transfer in Max Clare. That's going to be a stud on those seam routes for you this year. But then you look at Texas. Ryan Wingo, he's not really not getting a lot of attention because he's overshadowed by the other true sophomore on the other side of the field, and that's number 4. Ryan Wingo would start most places in the country. Probably not this logo that's over here, but he's starting at Texas, and he is damn good. They got a lot of other guys I'm excited about. DeAndre Moore, I think, needs to be getting some love. I do really like the transfer they brought in from Stanford and Emmett Mosley. I think he's going to be a big piece. And you want to talk about tight end transfers, Jack Endries is coming in. He's going to be a big part to try to fill in what Gunnar Helm did with this offense last year. So when you talk about the quarterback, wide receiver, the combinations with both of these teams, you're probably leaning towards Texas in the quarterback situation, and you're probably leaning towards Ohio State in the wide receiver room. It makes for a very interesting comparison, but I will bring up this note. Out of everybody that played Ohio State and had to defend number 4 last year, Texas did the best job. Go back and watch film in the Cotton Bowl. They bracket coveraged him. They did not let Jeremiah Smith do much of anything. And Ohio State had to find some other ways to go through and win the game against Texas. I believe that Jeremiah Smith is going to have a much better day here than he did back in the Cotton Bowl game, right? I think Jeremiah Smith is going to have a much better day, and it might not be anything spectacular. It might be 5 catches for 70 yards and 1 touchdown, but that's better production than he gave you against Texas last year. But Buckeye faithful, Jeremiah Smith put on so much muscle, is talking, and his teammates are backing this up, that he feels like he can play faster. He can play better than what he did last year. Last year, he was not at his best. I believe he's going to have a much better game here against Texas, but this is still a Longhorn secondary that is built to defend Jeremiah Smith. Michael Taft, Derek Williams, Malik Muhammad, Jalen Gilbo. There's so many great secondary pieces here. But let's move to another part of the defense for Texas, because a way that I think Ohio State can get the leg up on the Longhorns in this game is being able to test the interior of that defensive line. Texas will tell you they think they have it rebuilt. They brought in Cole Brevard and Murad Watson over from the transfer portal to help fill the gap on the interior. They have some star edge rushing talent, right? Ethan Burke, you're going to have Trey Moore, and you look at the linebacking room, Anthony Hill, Colin Simmons, they are fantastic. They all would star most places in the country there as well. But when you look at the interior of the defensive front, Ohio State's got some unknowns in this running back room. You lose Travion Henderson. You lose Quinshaw Judkins. But again, much like Julian's saying, you kind of have a pretty good idea that James Peoples is going to be pretty good. And we've seen what CJ Donaldson can do. Likely going to be a shorter yardage back here for the Buckeyes this year. But if Ohio State tests this Texas defensive front and they are ripping off chunk yardage run, and I'm not talking anything crazy. I'm talking 6 yards, 7 yards. I mean, what a way to break Julian Sayin in, right? Being able to force those second and shorts and let Julian Sayin get comfortable instead of Texas stuffing the run, and you got 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s, God forbid, Texas drives you backwards, and you're going with 3rd and a mile against this Texas secondary that covered Jeremiah Smith so well in Arlington just, 8 months ago? That's going to be quite the task for Julian Sayin to be able to do. So what's the response like right now? Both teams are going to have to find out, right, about that Texas interior front. Because if it does get figured out for the Longhorns, then, I mean, there's not a weak spot on this defense. That's the one spot you're looking on the defensive unit for Texas and thinking, okay, maybe Ohio State can try to exploit that. Well, with unknowns in the running back room, who knows how that's going to go as well. There are a couple big keys here that make you lean one certain direction that I think are going to help solidify the result in this game. The first being, let's start over here. The Buckeye defense must contain explosive plays. Well, there's going to be some overturn as the defensive coordinator, right? Jim Knowles no longer there. He's at Penn State. Matt Patricia is coming in here. He has not coached in a big game like this at the collegiate level, at the very least in a long time, if not ever. And he's got an entirely new unit for the most part. Now, he does have, again, one of the best players in the country in Caleb Downs, going to be the quarterback of the defense this year. Got some really good secondary pieces if Davison Igbinosun could not be as handsy as he was last year. Probably one of the most penalized players in college football. You're rebuilding the entire defensive front. You can feel pretty good about your linebacking unit with Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese and CJ Hicks. But overall, when you take a look at this defense, there is a lot of unknown. And matching up against this Texas team that has a pretty darn strong offensive front. Another way that I think Ohio State can attack Texas here is if they can make that O-line feel uncomfortable. I think that's going to be a really hard task to do, but I think there are some good pieces still left on this Buckeye defensive line that are stepping into the starting role that are going to be able to exploit that. However, about this containing explosive plays thing, we've already seen Arch Manning. I think his wide receiver room can be pretty comparable to most units across the country, and we haven't even mentioned the Texas running backs yet. Quintravion Wisner, CJ Baxter. Those are going to be huge tests for this Buckeye defensive front, and what really solidifies this one for me, and what makes me lean towards the burnt orange, is that coaching staff. The Buckeyes have overturned galore. Yes, Ryan Day just won a national championship, probably got some of the monkeys off of his back, right? But no more is your offensive coordinator there, right? in Chip Kelly. You're now going to be looking at Brian Hartline, who has had a stint there before, but now this is his first time really calling plays and taking the full reins. Matt Patricia, he's built some pretty solid defenses before, but he's never done anything like this. And Brian Hartline has never done anything like this. And this Texas coaching staff is one of the best in the country. Steve Sarkisian's one of the best head coaches in the country. They have consistency at the coordinators. And I think in some certain matchup areas, especially a lot of their pieces on defense and in the quarterback position, I do give them the slight edge. I love this Buckeye team a lot. I think Julian Sayin is going to form some real chemistry with Jeremiah Smith. I think this is a running back room that maybe doesn't turn out to be super spectacular right out of the gate, but I think it's going to find its stride, and there's enough pieces here defensively to be able to lead Ohio State into a Big Ten championship, back to the college football playoff, and I think even enough to get back to another national championship game. Texas, for me, is just really talented. I can't find a hole on this defense that I think Ohio State's going to readily be able to exploit. The interior of that defensive front, okay, maybe if one of Judkins and Henderson came back, that simply is just not the case. I think this is the Texas team that's really talented. The explosive plays are probably going to end up being that thing that helps decide this game, and I think Texas has the ability to create more of them. And they have, maybe that's not necessarily true because Ohio State can create explosive plays with those go balls to Jeremiah Smith. We know that. But Texas has the better ability to be able to slow down the opponent's explosive plays to me. I think they got the more talented defensive unit, and it's why I'm leaning the Longhorns here. 2.5 is that line right now, favoring the Buckeyes. And again, I told you at the top of this video, nothing is going to surprise me here. Not a Texas win, not a Buckeye win, not by 3 points, not by 30 points. Nothing is going to surprise me. But everything that Texas has got this year, really good defense, returning coaching staff, and the Buckeyes are going through a lot of change. I mean, so is Texas. Don't get me wrong. Texas is going through a lot of change. They return more of those key pieces from last year, and that's especially true in that coaching staff. I see this one being a fairly low-scoring, pretty tight-knit game, but I do think Texas comes away with the win. I think Texas is the most talented team in the country. I think they go on the road. They beat the Buckeyes in Columbus by a grand total of 3 points, so I see it being that close game. But everything I talked about here is making me lean towards the burnt orange when this one comes your way on Big Noon Kickoff. Boy, I cannot wait for this one, and I hope it's as exciting as a lot of people are hyping it up to be. This should be a fantastic game, although again, we'll see what happens because I think either of these teams can really take it to their opponent here. This will be one of the longer prediction videos because there was a ton to touch on in this one. But hey, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I want to know what you think about this top 3 matchup in the comment section down below. And we got 2 more prediction videos out for you later on today. Have a good one and goodbye.